Okay, welcome back. So by the end of this video, we will definitely have subtraction done. So, alright. So things that should be very apparent to you right away. This method right here should be very apparent to you right away of what we're going to do with it. What is this similar to? We have 1, and remember this is different, so this is 1 minus negative 1. Okay, well 1 minus negative 1 is 1 plus 1, right? So we don't have to reinvent the wheel here. We just have to go ahead and call calculate sum. So we're going to do that. We're going to call calculate sum. We're going to provide it with I, O, and for the I hope you can see that we provided it I, O, and for the variables here, for the signs, 1 and 1. So it's going to return, and remember this method's an int, so it has to return something. And remember, calculate sum is returning an int, which is the sign of the end result. So we're going to return calculate sum. So when I'm returning calculate sum, I'm returning the sign of the end result, which is either going to be a 1 or a negative 1. Alright, so let's see. What other similarities can we come up with here? Because that's going to be the rest of this. So, let's see. 1 minus 1 is the same thing as 1 plus negative 1. Alright, so let's initiate that. And I'm going to copy this, and I'm just going to paste that here. So 1 plus negative 1. So that's how that should be right. Let me go through my logic again here. So if it's 1 minus negative 1, actually, what the heck I'm doing? Okay, 1 minus 1 is the equivalent of 1 minus, because that's what we receive. We're receiving two positive values. 1 minus 1 is the same thing as 1 plus negative 1 in sum. So that's what we're providing it. A positive 1, as you can see, and a negative 1, which you can see. Alright, so now we're getting right through this. We're going to be returning what here? This is another case. So this is going to be, let's see, negative 1 minus negative 1. Right? This is negative 1, this is negative 1. So negative 1 minus negative 1 is 1, negative 1 plus 1. So we can just stick that there. I told you this is going to be real quick. So now, I'm not even going to look, I'm just going to do the last possible combination. So we've done everything else except for this combination. Let's test it just in case. So by logic, we are receiving negative 1 minus 1. So in summing, that's the same thing as negative 1 plus negative 1. And that's exactly what we're doing here. So, and you'll see that it's still red because it's saying, well, what if this is not that, that's not that, that's not that. Alright, so let's give it a last return statement if none of these if statements fulfill the return value. We'll at least have something to fall back on. So return 1 by default. But it should never reach this point. So I'm even going to put a little error message. Error, the program should not reach this point. Alright. So we have just done difference. So let's test it out. Let's see, let's start with something simple. 100 subtract 50. And this is going to be after subtracting now. So it's going to be from 200 minus 50. Let's see what happens. And 200 minus 50 is indeed 150. Awesome. So what's 200 minus negative 50? Keep in mind, 200 minus negative 50, which of course turns into 200 plus 50, which of course turns out to be 250 positive. So let's see if our program figures it out. And indeed, it does. So how about negative 200 minus 250? That's negative 200 minus negative 50, which ends up being negative 200 plus 50, which should come out to negative 150. So let's run it. Let's see. And indeed, again, it comes out with the correct answer. Let's see. What else can we can try any other combination, but I think this program's pretty solid. Let's see. Negative 300. Oh. Yeah, this is subtracting, so it's all going to stay in there. Let's see. 200 minus negative 300 is indeed positive 500. So far, we have got the cat in the bag. Addition, subtraction is all set up. We are ready to go ahead and move on to now multiplication. And what do you think multiplication is? Seems easy, right? All we're going to do is add something over and over again in a for loop. However, it's a tiny bit complicated yet, because we will be using, up until now we've been using outside character array for adding, subtracting. Now we're going to be using it for multiplying, and we'll be using digit character array and another array, something else, in order to maybe digit character array and digit character array itself. You know, if digit character array is holding 100 and we are multiplying it by 2, we're going to have digit character array have 100 plus 100 in order to get the answer. So it's an interesting problem that we'll discuss in the next video, but you have reached a very tipping point of this video series, where we have finally completed the basics, and you've only had to watch 5 hours of video to get there. The fifth video, which I'm currently recording right now, will go right there. So thanks for hanging in there with me, and I expect multiplication and division and exponentiation take about 2 more hours of video. So see you in the next video.